Hi, thanks for joining Peanut and Plum today. We're going to be making this gorgeous mermaid tail blanket. I have made this pattern before and I'm just updating it now with a tutorial. So if you have had the pattern before, it's going to be slightly different. Only the hook sizes and some of the rows to go with the hook size. So you can still follow along to see the process, and so it should still help you, but you might find things slightly different. So I'm going to be making a junior size today, and I've got 4 yarn balls of magic glitz. So beautiful colours here, lovely colourway. So it makes a really beautiful overall blanket. So I'm going to be using 4 strands at the same time, which of course, yep, looks really tricky, but I think you'll find it's quite easy once you start going along with it. And the only reason I've done this is because I couldn't find a chunky yarn in the colourway that I wanted. So I wanted this to work up really quickly, and I could make a junior in an evening, in a day, if I sat there for a few hours. So it's quite a quick and easy project, so great for gifts, last minute projects. So I'm going to begin with a 15mm hook, so quite large. Originally in the other pattern I had a 25mm hook, but with feedback, a lot of people have said that it's too big to work with and they're quite difficult to source. So I'm now renewing the pattern and I'm doing it with a 5mm hook, 15mm hook. And then I've got a 12mm hook, which we will use to make the tail. I just need 2 markers in different colours. I'll explain to you as we go along why that is. And then just some yarn scissors. Okay, so there will be a written pattern for the other sizes, but you can make this in any yarn or hook that you like. You'll just need to follow the same sequence, and of course if you're using a smaller hook it will take you more rows and more time, but the pattern is written for any type of yarn and hook, so anything that you've got there you can follow this tutorial and make the blanket with that. So I'm going to grab my 4 ends of my yarn. Okay, and I'm just going to grab my 15mm hook. We're going to be working in half double crochets for the body of the mermaid tail. So I'm just going to chain 15. So I have my 15 chains, nice and chunky there. That's why this pattern works up so quickly, but using the 4 strands, it's not very gappy, so I think you'll find it's nice and stretchy and chunky, a lovely warm blanket. So what we're going to do is we're going to half double crochet into the second chain from the hook. So yarn over, into a stitch, yarn over, and then pull through all 3. And we're going to half double crochet all the way to the end of this chain. What I'm going to do on this first stitch that I've done is I'm going to place my first marker. Now I've done different colours because I want to know that this is the beginning, so you'll see why in a minute, but I've got this different colour here just so I know that that's the beginning marker there. So I'm just going to half double crochet all the way along. I'm at the end of my row here, so I've got my beginning stitch there and I've put a marker in there, half double crochet all the way along the top of that chain. Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn our chain around and we're going to start working in this bottom bit there. So this is the bit that most people get a bit stuck with on the pattern. We're not going to join this to make a circle or anything like that, and we're not going to stitch this bottom together at the end. We are going to just finish our last stitch there, and then we're going to turn our work and start working into the bottom chains of the original chain. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to just pull that apart, so you've got your space there, and you'll work into this gap here. Okay, so just do 1 half double crochet into that gap there, and that works as your first stitch for the next row. And this is where we're going to place our next marker. So that's why I want them to be different colours, so I know that that's the beginning of the whole sequence, the whole set of rows, and this is just the beginning of the second row. So again, half double crochet all the way along, just into the gap there. And this will seal the bottom, so we don't have to stitch at the end, and we will start to make like a cocoon shape. So I'll just half double crochet along there, and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm at the end of my row, and I've gone working in the bottom piece. So now I've got this piece that looks like this, and you're just placing stitches on top of the previous stitches. If you can't see how you're working, it should look like this. Okay, and then you're just going to do a half double crochet straight into the first stitch of the previous round. So we're back to the first stitch, and I'll just move my marker up then. So I know I'm at the beginning of the next round, and we will be working in rounds now. But what essentially this is sealed at the bottom now, and your piece will start to work like this, so you'll start to work round and up, and you'll sort of get like a cocoon shape as we go out. Now what I do now is 3 rounds all the way around, moving my markers up as I go. And then we'll do an increase. So I'll just do my 4. So go all the way around. So you've joined in the first stitch, you've placed your marker, just go around that first row, you'll get to your marker, move your marker up as you go, and just do 3 rows all the way until you get back to that first marker stitch there. So I'm at my next marker now, and I've just done a half double crochet into that stitch. I'm going to move my marker up. And then we're going to half double crochet 3 stitches again after our marker stitch. so second marker, 1, 2, 3 half double crochets, and then we're going to increase in the next 2 again. So 1 half double crochet in the 4th stitch, back into the same stitch. So we've got an increase there, and then the same into the next stitch. And we've got our increase after our next marker. So we're getting to our markers and we're just counting 3 stitches and then increasing by 2 stitches after each marker. And then you'll complete your row up to your beginning marker. Okay, so I'm just at that beginning marker there now, and I'll half double crochet into that. That completes my row. And I'll just move my marker stitch up. And that's completed our increase row. Now you'll start to see as you increase that these markers move. They're going to end up moving all the way around your piece. Don't worry, that's fine. That's because we're increasing and it's pushing the stitches around. But that's why you need to know where your beginning stitch is so you can finish your row complete, and where your second stitch marker is. So don't worry, leave them where they fall as you go around, and that means we could just complete the rows properly. But also it means that we're increasing in different stitches as we go around. If we were to leave these here on the sides, we'd be increasing to the same stitches, which doesn't give you a neat sort of gradual sort of taper out to the sides. So all the sequences, really easy for all sizes and for all yarn types and hooks, is you'll just complete 3 rows, and then you'll get to your beginning marker stitch and you'll count in 3, increase by 2, then go to your next marker, count 3 half double crochets and increase by 2, and your piece will gradually start to go out nicely. Of course, depending on the size of the hook and the type of yarn you're using, it may take more rows for you to sort of get to the size and width that you like. But you can do any size you like now, so you can either follow the rows that I do and the amount that I do, or you can just keep going with 3 half double crochet rows and then an increase row until you're happy with the width and the length of your piece. So I'll show you what that looks like as you go along. So here's one I'm already making, and as you can see, sorry, I've got my yarn in there. It's a quite good little pocket to stash your yarn when you're not doing it. So we're increasing gradually as we go up, and then you'll get a piece. Sorry, just move my chair out. And you'll get a lovely sort of increase as you go up. Okay, so this is how it should look. And just following that sequence in any yarn, hook type, just keep following the same sequence and you'll get a lovely mermaid tail shape there. Sorry, tongue twisters today. Okay, so for the junior size, I like to do it 25 inches wide, and I do it about 35 to 40 inches in length. Of course, do whatever it feels good for you. If you want to make it longer or wider, or you want to make it a little bit smaller, completely customise it to your own tastes. And once I've completed that, I'll show you what we do in the next round to finish off the body, and then we can make our mermaid tail. But it's very easy sequence. So once you've done your first 3 rows and you've created that pocket at the bottom, you'll just do 3 rows around, increase after 3 stitches after your marker stitches, and keep going with the same sequence, and you should get a lovely long mermaid tail shape. Okay, so when you're happy with your size, it's a bit difficult to show you all in one here, so this is mine. You'll find that, depending on how many rows you've done, that your markers aren't on the edges anymore. They've moved around due to you doing your increases. So all you need to do is just get to your original blue marker side. So if your blue marker's on this side, then go to the side that's closest to that blue marker and do your last stitch in. So for our tail, we'll grab our 4 strands of yarn and our 12mm hook, and we will chain 14. This is so I've got 14 there, and then I'm going to do a single crochet into the second chain from the hook. So straight in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over again. So single crochets all the way along, giving us 13 stitches. Okay, so I've got 13 stitches on there now, all the way along. We'll just chain 1 and then turn our work. And we're going to work single crochets into the back loops only. So you'll yarn over and go into just this back loop here and finish your stitch. And then yarn over and into the next stitch in the back loop only, and complete the same all the way to the last stitch. And on the last stitch we will do an increase. Okay, so I've single crocheted in the back loop across, and this has given me a nice sort of ridged effect there. And I've got my last stitch here. What I'm going to do is put 3 single crochets into the same stitch in the back loop. So, oh sorry, I'm doing a half double crochet there, lost myself. So you do 1 single crochet, another single crochet, and then your 3rd single crochet in that last one on your end there. Okay, so this will start to increase and you'll start to get the tail feather out. Okay, then we'll chain 1, we'll turn our work, and we'll repeat down the row again, just single crochets in the back loop, no increase, single crochets in the back loop all the way down. Start to see how it's going to fan out there, so we should get a straight edge along the top there, and then just some nice bridges along the front. Okay, so then we'll chain 1 at the end again, and we'll single crochet in the back loop all the way along again, and do our increase in the bottom. So we'll only increase when we get to this bottom here, where you can see that we're making it longer, this, but keeping the flat edge there. The first half of my tail, so I've just been alternating rows 1 and 2 in the back loop on each side, so it should look the same on both sides. I've done 24 rows in total. Obviously if you want a bigger tail, do some more or do some less, just depending on the width and the height that you like it. So there's 2 ways now of doing the other half. You can either repeat the same steps again and make 2 and then sew them together at the middle here, or I like to join on the other side of the foundation row and do it from there. So we will have a few strands to sew in at the end. So I just grab my piece, so I've got it the wrong way around, and I'm going to join into the other half of that foundation row there, so just where the other side of those stitches are there. So I'll just join in here. It is tricky with all these strands, but we're nearly at the end now, so once we've completed the tail I'll show you how to put it onto the body, and then that's it. So I've just joined with a slip stitch into the first stitch, and I'll just single crochet all the way along. You can tuck your ends in as you go. I like to do this, but if you're more comfortable weaving those in with a needle, do that. So just one single crochet in the first one there, and then find your second stitch, single crochet into there, and then just single crochet all the way along. Now when you get to your last stitch, which you'll pull apart on the end there, we're going to do our increase. So we'll do our 3 single crochets into that last stitch. Okay, and this will start to fan out the same as the other side then. So just regular single crochets for the foundation row, sorry, on the other side of the foundation row, all the way along, and do your increase of 3 single crochets at the bottom there, and then chain 1, turn your work, and then we'll just repeat the same as we did before. So we'll start to work in the back loop, so single crochet in the back loop, all the way along. You'll start to see how this will fan out into the mermaid tail shape. So if you just repeat rows 1 and 2 now, so you'll do your single crochet row all the way up to the top in the back loop, and then when you come down to the, not the straight edge, the other edge, you'll do your increases. So exactly the same as the previous side of the mermaid tail blanket. And then fasten yourself off, and I will show you how to add this to the body of your blanket. Okay, so I'm going to use some markers just to help me steady my piece a little. So I'm going to want 3 of those. So if you find your centre, and just hold that in place with a marker in the centre of your work. And then 1, and then we're going to want to pull the piece up. It'll bunch up for now, but that's fine. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So about 6 rows up the side there. And just hold that in place and do the same for the other side. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll just do a nice whip stitch, nice secure stitch around the sides. So I've just got a little bit of scrap yarn left. I'll just chop a bit of that off. Okay, and then you'll just join on the outer edge there. And just a whip stitch where you go over the piece and back in. Secure that at the side with a few stitches. And then just go all the way along. Now you want to bunch up your tail a little bit as you go. So you want to sort of cinch it together like this. So all this gathered piece sort of fits in nicely. So I usually just give it a little pinch like that and then go through the two parts there. So give it a little pinch and go through the top of your pinch and then just stitch it along there like that. So make that a bit clearer. So we want to use all this as we go. So if you give it a little pinch like that and then go through both pieces there and then attach those pieces onto your bottom there, and then it makes it cinched but nice and flat there. It's not bulky. So I'll just sew that on for you and I'll show you what it looks like at the end. Here we go. So I've attached that all the way along there. As you can see, it gives a nice flare to the tail. And then you've got your body part there. So we've got this beautiful mermaid tail blanket. Very simple and easy design. I know I've made it a bit awkward using the 4 strands, but it's just because I love these colourways that you can get. And it seems to be that DK yarn has a lot of these stripping yarns in colours. But of course, again, like I said, any yarn, any size hook, just follow the same steps to get the size that you like. There are some sizes written for you in my written pattern that you can follow along, obviously, if you don't want to adjust it to your own. And I've given a link at the bottom there for the pattern. And yeah, I would love to see all of your designs and your blankets. And I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. So please subscribe and follow Peanut and Plum for some more. If you have any queries or suggestions, please you can write a message below or you can contact me privately. I'm always interested in your feedback. And here we go. Our one evening mermaid tail blankets.